morning, hope you're all doing well. On my way to work on another cold, frosty morning. The topic I wanted to discuss today is, what do you really want? Well, what do we really want? That's a better way of putting it. Because I think if we're really honest with ourselves, we all already know deep down what it is that we actually want. But if you were to go and ask the average person what it is that they want, you would get answers like, oh, I want to earn a lot of money, I want to be rich, I want to be famous, I want to get a fancy car, I want a bigger house, things like that. You would also get things like, I want to, of course, I want to find a partner, go and settle down, maybe start a family. Some people would say that, and that's a great, believe me, that's a great, that's a great thing to aspire to. But yeah, man, if you just all these shallow things like, oh, I just want to earn a lot of money and bigger house, all these materialistic things, that would be among some of the most common responses out there. But I think to really understand what it is that we want, we need to go even deeper than that, even deeper. Now, a few months ago, I sat myself down for a while, and I basically drew up a vision plan. I wrote out, what is my vision? What do I actually want out of life? What is it that I want to achieve? What would my ideal life look like? Now, I'm going to sort of give myself as an example here, because I can't speak for all of you watching. Your lives will be different to mine. You'll have a different set of circumstances, and what you want will be different to me, so basically. So I did that a few months ago, beginning of this year. And yeah, I really came to a very, very good understanding about what it is that I actually want, like a very deep understanding. That's a very good way to put it. Now, living in the big city for most of my life, I grew up in the greater Brisbane metropolitan area, on the coast, southeast Queensland. I was born there, and I grew up my entire life that way. So up until 1.5 years ago, when I was 20 years old, basically, or just about turning 21, 22 now. So yeah, I thought I knew what I wanted. I'd gotten out of school, I'd started up at uni, had a part-time job working for one of Australia's supermarket corporations. And yeah, I thought I knew what I wanted. I thought I wanted what basically everyone else wanted. At that time, I thought, I just want to earn a lot of money. I want to become rich. I wasn't so bothered about the famous thing, but I just wanted to sort of have enough money to sort of buy things for having a nice, comfortable life. But I didn't really know exactly what I wanted more than that. And at that time, I was in a really bad space in terms of my my mental health and all of that. Like, I'd already basically given up on ever getting into a long-term relationship, whatever, getting married, having kids, that sort of thing. So starting a family, that was never on my to-do list of what I wanted. I always thought that was not possible for me, that I'm just doomed and destined to be alone. But I thought, well, then I just want to have enough resources and stuff to sustain myself, and that's it. Just go and live a good life. That's really what I thought. But yeah, when I sat myself down and I really thought about it, I realized that's not what I wanted at all. And it especially changed when I moved out here. So it's almost a year ago. It was like June last year. I moved out here to the rural Queensland countryside. June last year. So almost a year ago now. That's when I moved permanently. I'd been going back and forth for the first half of 2022, between the coast and here. This is about 3 hours inland from that, just across the Great Dividing Range. And yeah, since moving out here, I've realized that that's not what I wanted at all. I don't care about money. I don't care about being famous. I don't care about any of that materialistic things. And I've realized in terms of material possessions, like, I don't care about having a fancy car. Like right now, I'm just driving an old bomb basically, but it gets me to where I need to go. I don't care about having a fancy car. All I care is it's reliable, it's economical, and it gets me from point A to point B. And you know, like this, it's just, yeah, you know, it's people focus so much on, you know, what material possessions that they want and all of that. And I don't care about having a fancy house or big house, anything like that either. I really don't. And I really want to go and live a more minimalistic lifestyle, man. You can sort of start to see the sunrise a little bit in the distance. The sun's not over the mountains just yet, but it's slowly going to peek over soon. I really like the way at the time I start work at the moment. It's actually shifted back half an hour, so I don't have to get up quite so early anymore. It's about 5 a.m. wake ups at the moment. Then I sort of do my, you know, morning meditation quickly, you know, have a cup of tea or whatever, and yeah, then leave to work. I only have to start there at 6:30 now, so that gives me plenty of time, so I'm happy about that. Which is when the sun rises as well. Yeah. Anyway, getting back on track. So the vision plan. What I realized out here that I didn't want any of that. So with the big house, for example, like I didn't tell you the full story of what exactly happened, but basically in the middle of the, you know, back in 2021, you know, I was at the height of all the COVID, you know, pandemic restrictions here, lockdowns, all of that, mandates, and yeah, I already mentioned I lost my job because I refused to get a certain poke in the shoulder. Yeah, pretty much, and my parents basically decided to, you know, sell their house on the coast, the house that I'd been growing up in, and yeah, they wanted to come out here and, you know, buy some land out here and just basically move out here. But yeah, my parents couldn't actually do it on their own because they still had you know, the land mortgaged and all the house mortgaged and all of that. And you know, I'd been earning quite a bit on you know, for that previous you know, 2 years before that, and I had some, you know, money saved up in investments and all of that. You know, not that much really, but you know, I've always been pretty good at managing money and all of that. So yeah, I sort of came on board as, you know, third owner. We all sort of worked together, my parents and I, and yeah, we managed to get a block of land out here, a small block, which you've seen in a few videos, that adjoins a creek. And yeah, since then we've gotten got a few things for it, like a caravan and all of that. And yeah, that caravan was basically where I'm not living there now because I'm currently house sitting in another town, but that's going to be basically where I'm going to be living for the next few years, man. And in this caravan on a block of land, more or less in the wilderness. Well, no, it's not in the wilderness. It's still close to the town, but regardless, it's a small rural country town, and it's completely different to where I came from, being from the, you know, big city. But I realized I don't need or want a big house. Like having a small space, minimalistic living, like that's all I really want. That's all I really need. And I don't care about having a fancy car, like I already said. Now, what is it that I actually want? Well, I realized all I really want is what we all really want. We want to basically be happy. That's what we all want. Now, I think happiness itself is not a good goal to have. I really don't, because if you're constantly desiring happiness, you know, happiness is not something that you just be able to switch, that you just be able to turn on where suddenly you just be happy. It's not how it works. Happiness, I think, is just about, first of all, it does start, I think, with mindset, but then also just how you choose to live your life. Like, are you living a purposeful life? Like, I think having that desire to just live a purposeful life and you strive towards continuous growth, I think that's what will really bring happiness and fulfillment. Living a fulfilling life, I think that's what will bring happiness. And I think fulfillment can only happen through growth and continuous growth and evolution. It's never gonna, I think none of us are ever going to be happy just being stagnant and not changing and just being the same pretty much all our lives. That's not what we really want. So of course, I mean, I wanted happiness, but I thought that's not really a good goal to have for the reasons that I mentioned. But all I really want is I want to live a life in an area where I can just live peacefully, where I can live a free life. Basically, I want to live a life of peace and a life of freedom, where I'm basically free to go out there and do whatever I want. Really, that's what I want. I want to live a peaceful life where I can feel unrestrained to go out there and fulfill my soul desire. Now, what does that look like? Well, living in a big city in a constrained, tight space, that doesn't sound very free to me. So I definitely want it to be in a rural area. And yeah, I want to live in a peaceful area where there's wide open spaces, a lot of nature. But even more than all of that, I desire a form of love and connection in my life. I've been denying this for my whole life, basically. For so long, I've said, oh, I'm alone, I'm going to be a lone wolf, I'm destined to be alone. But no, man, I do want love and connection in my life. And I mean that in twofold ways. I think first of all, it's important, we all need love and connection, ultimately. You know, it's the first thing that's important is, of course, to fulfill all of our needs. You know, what it is that we need, because like, how can you fulfill your wants if you don't fulfill your needs first? So we all have, of course, all the physical things that we need: food, water, shelter. But then also we have the non-physical things that ultimately are needs. And I do think love and connection is a need. Humans ultimately, you know, it doesn't matter how introverted you are. I mean, I'm basically as introverted as you can get. I live my life as a hermit and a recluse most of the time. So yeah, but you know, humans are not meant to be recluses. We are social, and we are social creatures, and yeah, we need love and connection. I think it's actually a need, not a want. And of course, the most important place and sustaining place it can come from is from within. We first of all need to love ourselves, and I think another thing that can really help in that regard is having some sort of faith in a higher power. I'm not talking necessarily about religion, but just having some faith in a power greater than yourself. That's really what I've developed in the last year, and it's really helped me get through some very, very challenging times. So, and then also more than that, you know, I do want love and connection with others. You know, I do eventually want to, you know, I'll just be honest, man. Eventually, I want to get a girlfriend. Yeah, I want to find a partner and eventually get married. You know, have kids, settle down. That's what I want. I do want that. I've come to realize that, and it's not easy for me to come on and say this because I essentially have constantly talked myself out of it, because I always said, well, there's no one would want to be with me and all of that, but I've come to realize that's not true. It's not true at all. Just because I had some difficulty and bad experience in the past doesn't mean that it has to always be that way. So yeah, I want to live in a rural area, you know, off-grid. Yeah, that's right, off-grid, where I have a nice garden patch. It's basically self-sustained, you know, growing our own vegetables, you know, off-grid power, you know, all of that. And just basically living a peaceful life, you know, connected to nature, and not have to stress about working 9 to 5 and all of that. Going out on hikes regularly, all of that. That's what I want. Anyway, comment down below, what do you want? See you all in the next one. Ciao.